What's happening in Tanzania is not new, and at the very least, it's a warning to the rest of the world. Because what happens in Africa is often just a testing ground on what politicians abroad are already scheming to do. During their most recent government elections, Tanzanians experienced a massacre of over 700 people, in which now folks are saying that it's actually over 3,000 people that have been killed, all for protesting for fairness for their elections. This takes us back to 2021 when John Pombe Magufuli, the former president of Tanzania, passed away on March 17, 2021, and then Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan stepped up as president. This made her the first female president and the first woman to hold office in Tanzania. And one may think of this as revolutionary. But is it? If you've watched my recent video that I made on the Ugandan elections and how Museveni once ran as a revolutionary, you can see clearly how these patterns are continuing to be made, not only in Uganda, not only in Tanzania, but across different parts of the African continent and even the rest of the world. When Hassan first stepped up as president following the passing of former President Magufuli, she changed a lot of policies that Tanzanians had been hoping for. She not only lifted bans on social media and bans on pregnant schoolgirls being able to attend school, she lifted bans on opposition rallies during electoral periods. Let me say that again. She lifted the bans on opposition rallies. Period. But what has happened over the past few days, if not weeks, proved otherwise. During the most recent election period, which took place between August and the end of October, so it recently just passed, opposition parties, opposition leaders, and those that are for the opposition were subject to harassment, brutality, unaliving, and disappearances, including opposition leader Tundu Lissu being arrested and others who have either been unalived, who have disappeared, no one knows where they are, and hundreds, if not thousands of youth and protesters that have been massacred as a result of standing against President Hassan and her betrayal of the Tanzanian people. There have been curfews and lockdown put in place in order to control the people of Tanzania, in order to control the youth who are speaking up and just want their voices heard, including youth as young as 11 years old who've been subject to harassment by military officials for not even going out in the streets to protest, but things as simple as going out to get water and food for their families. When current President Hassan was sworn into office on November 3rd, 2025, so literally yesterday, it was reported that she won by a landslide of 97% of the voters. 97% of the voters. This is only due to the voting suppression that she enacted by arresting, unaliving, and disappearing oppositions, people that are part of the opposition parties, either as supporters, leaders, or members. The internet was also shut down on election day. Current President Hassan shut down the internet on election day as a tactic of control of the people, of the people's voices, and of the people's concerns. This also took place on January 14th, 2021 in Uganda when the Museveni government shut down the internet and all forms of communication within the country the day following Election Day. There's so much at play here in terms of similarities happening not only across the African continent, but across East Africa. And this makes me think a lot about Angela Davis's book, Freedom is a Constant Struggle, and the different tools and tactics that we can learn from one another in order to have a stronger upfront in our solidarity and in our fight for one another. Kenyans have been standing for Tanzania since the beginning of this election period, flying into the country to support protesters, to protest with them, to attend government meetings. And this momentum needs to continue with other East Africans. However, the safety risk is huge. And this is where us folks, us East Africans, us Black folks in the rest of the world can step up with the privileges that we hold as Black folks who do not live in the current countries that are experiencing these atrocities. A group that was birthed during the 2021 Ugandan elections is called Red Pearl, and it's a group made up of Ugandan youth across the diaspora who are fighting to end the dictatorship in Uganda. What they did in 2021 was they had folks on the ground and they had folks in different parts of the world who helped in reporting what was happening so that folks on the ground did not have to put their voices and their faces out there for the safety of themselves, their families, and their communities. Their social media is put up on the screen if you would like to support them or learn about different ways that they were able to go about supporting Ugandans on the ground from the diaspora during a very intense, brutal election period, including an internet shutdown, cellular shutdown, phone line shutdown, everything shut down, and blackout in general. And most recently, they made a post calling for Tanzanians. So if you're in Tanzania, or if you're Tanzanian, or you're part of the Tanzanian WhatsApp, Telegram groups with solidarity and movement updates, they created a forum for Tanzanians on the ground or others who may know of what's directly happening on the ground but are not able to speak about it. This forum is encrypted and 100% anonymous for folks to be able to upload and share and write about what is happening. And this information can then be shared to others who are interested and have a platform to be able to then talk about what is happening for those who may not able to do it so publicly for their own safety. The forum can be found below on my page and also on their Instagram page, which has all the information and details. The purpose of this forum is to share information that is happening for folks who are not able to share it. Because as many of y'all have probably realized, there isn't a lot of talk about Tanzania because Tanzanians cannot talk and cannot share what is happening. And that's where the forum comes into place. This forum will have information that we in the rest of the world can then use our privilege to either share or post about what is being shared to us for those who may not be able to. If you're a creator with a platform, no matter how small and how big, and you're interested in helping keep up with what gets submitted, if anything gets submitted, I would recommend checking out their Instagram page and reaching out to them for more information. I know as Africans, we have been through it. And I know people might be thinking we are cooked, but I would like us to not think we are. I think we're actually getting stronger, and our solidarity between each other is only increasing and is only growing, and it takes continuing the momentum to keep it afloat. Elections is only part of everything, but we owe it to our ancestors and our future generations to not stay quiet and to not do anything.